Hello. Hello once again. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. As you can see, I'm wearing a tie, right? Because I want you to take me really seriously and to hide the fact that I don't have a haircut and that I've been wearing sweatpants for the past 2 weeks. I mean, I'm still wearing sweatpants, but now I'm wearing sweatpants and a tie, right? And this is still wall-to-wall Corona coverage all day, non-stop, every day, 24/7. But there were a couple of other things that happened, right? So most notably, Joe Biden is facing a little bit of some Me Too allegations from a woman called Tara Reid. I do think she's actually a Bernie supporter, but outside of that, it still begs the question, why now? I mean, Bernie's already dead in the water. Joe Biden was vice president for 8 years, but you wait until only a couple of months before the Democratic nomination is supposed to occur to say, oh, me too. I mean, what's really happening? I think they probably just want to prop up Andrew Cuomo, right? And rather than just tell Joe, you know what? Your time has come. I don't think this is going to work for you. Go ahead and exit stage left. They have to pull him down in this real barbaric fashion for whatever reason. It is page 1 in the Democratic playbook. You can ask Clarence Thomas or you can ask Brett Kavanaugh. This is just what they do. They take some 20 or 30-year-old allegation that can't be proven because it's just a he said, she said situation. But this is what they know. This is the best way to get things done over on the left, I suppose. And on top of all of it, you got Valerie Jarrett Instagramming photos of President Obama and Andrew Cuomo talking about former president and acting president and hashtag President Cuomo and all this sorts of weird stuff. She's a complete hack. And a real fun fact is that in the last week of Obama's presidency, he appointed Valerie Jarrett and Susan Rice to the board over at the Kennedy Center. And of course, the Kennedy Center is now getting $25 million cut directly to them as part of this stimulus package because the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts is super crucial to fighting a virus for some reason. And President Trump did appoint Mike Huckabee and I think John Voight to that board as well. So whatever, we'll see how it goes. But it seems a little fishy. I mean, in his last week as President Obama does this. But, you know, he's black, so we just got to trust him, right? I mean, he would never use taxpayer dollars to fund a bogus solar company or run guns to a Mexican cartel or scream about global warming and then buy a $12 million waterfront mansion in Martha's Vineyard. He wouldn't do any of that stuff, so I trust him. It's all on the level, right? Anyway, the media is now propping up Andrew Cuomo, which makes complete sense. I mean, he's the governor of, Democratic state and the economic hub of the entire country, pretty much. And he will certainly play the game. He can be controlled. He is a product of nepotism. His little brother is on television 5 nights out of the week. And I did mention in one of my last videos how he spoke pretty highly of Trump. But, that was one compliment sandwiched between the rest of the orange man bad narrative that they continue to push. And I was just trying to find the needle in the haystack, a little bit of a silver lining there. But, the man himself, he looks like an old catcher's mitt. He's probably running low on adrenochrome himself. But he will play the orange man bad game until the wheels fall off. He even blamed Trump for lack of ventilators here in New York and then was forced to admit that there was a warehouse full of ventilators. And he just said, oh, well, the hospitals just didn't need them right now. We're going to need them later. It's like, all right. But either way, they all seem to be getting the script. They are all parroting the same talking points at this moment in time, right? De Blasio, Cuomo, even London Breed over there in San Francisco, fear-mongering through the roof about how your grandma is not disposable and how your whole family's going to die if you don't listen to them, right? I mean, because before it was Russia and then it was Ukraine and all that stuff about how the president is working for another nation just wasn't scary enough. So now you and your family are all going to die if you don't do what they say. Then we've got Trish Regan of Fox Business, who was fired, and the left just loves it because anytime somebody that they don't like faces a little bit of adversity, they just jump up and down and cheer. And, I don't know exactly what she said, but something along the lines of, oh, this virus is sort of like the impeachment hoax, which is absolutely correct. I mean, I made an entire video about some of the events leading up to this whole catastrophe. So go ahead and check that out if you have time. And I mean, this thing it's all quite similar, right? It even comes with its own catchphrases. Like before it was quid pro quo and no one is above the law and our democracy is at stake. And now it's, we have to practice social distancing and we have to flatten the curve. And it's like, all right, I think it's all a little bit overblown because they know that their last ditch effort at winning back the White House is to tarnish the shiny trophy of the booming economy that President Trump created. And I think it's a little bit of a scam, no matter how you slice it, right? Because if you're a non-essential worker, you have to stay home, but food still costs money and rent still costs money. So they're going to slide you a $1,200 check to shut up and buy a couple of groceries while they find a new Democratic candidate. And if you're a business owner, right? I mean, they're saying, well, your business is no longer essential. And what? Like, I mean, who doesn't know this is happening, right? Who's sitting back there like, well, I don't know what virus you're talking about, but you missed a month of rent, so we're going to go ahead and replace you because loads of people are looking to move and start new businesses, especially in this building built for a cheesecake factory. So none of it really adds up. I mean, is it all on pause? Some of it's on pause? Where do we draw the line, And outside of that, they're still saying that, well, if you call the virus the Chinese virus, then you're a racist. It's like, well, this thing came all the way from Wuhan to my front door to kill me and my entire family, but it's really sensitive, so I have to be careful what I call it. It just doesn't add up to me, but what do I know, right? And then we have all the celebrities who were tested early, symptomless, of course, because they're the most important people, and then they tested positive. But, 2 weeks goes by, and they're all 100%. Tom Hanks is back in Hollywood. Rudy Gobert is feeling great, and everybody just got through it no problem without as much of a, without as much of just a cough, So I'm just saying it doesn't really quite add up, and it begs a couple of questions. That's it. And then, as they were planning out the stimulation package, is that it? The stimulus package, or whatever it is called. Nancy Pelosi wanted mandatory abortions for everybody so she can, get the product that she needs. And the Republicans, I guess, asking to, for their corporate lobbyists or whatever. Who knows? Everybody was going to use this to their advantage in some way, shape, or form. But then we have this Representative Massey who says, well, maybe we should do a recorded vote. And everybody was like, no, that's a bad idea. Even Donald Trump was like, no, that's a bad idea. Get him out of here. And I'm like, well, it kind of seems like a good idea, right? I mean, before you inject $2.2 trillion into the economy, I think it's fair to say, maybe we should record who thinks this is a good idea and who thinks this is a bad idea. But I'm no expert. Then we've got AOC throwing her little temper tantrum out on the floor, and who knows what she was really talking about. It's impossible to listen to this woman. I don't know how anybody can take her seriously, but she's flailing her arms all around, literally screaming. Now, she wasn't mad that the stimulus package gives a raise to all congressional representatives, but she was mad that it was going to give some corporations a little bit of money, even though corporations employ way more people than work in Congress. And she also wants the illegal immigrants to get a little piece of the pie for some reason. And it doesn't add up. But this is coming from a woman who says, well, it's more important to be morally right than factually correct. And that absolutely makes no sense. That's one of her old hits. And they're just going to keep coming, just like the Joe Biden gaffes. But anyway, then we got R. Kelly, who says he should be let out of jail because of the coronavirus, which, again, I do not see a correlation, man. You did some foul things. You should probably do the time for the crime. But, dude, you get a little coronavirus, you get a little cough in the clink, so what? Deal with it. You can be fine. And another fun fact is that the FBI right now is not addressing FOIA requests. So that's a little fishy as well. The good folks over at the Judicial Watch informed me that, well, during this coronavirus until at least the end of March, which I guess is coming around, was it March or April? I don't know. But for a certain period of time, they were not going to address any freedom of information requests, which is a little peculiar because while all this is going on, all these bills and stimulus packages and Hillary Clinton deposition requests, they're just going to say, oh, we're not going to do it right now because of the virus. So I don't know. It's all a little bit fishy, and we'll see how this plays out. Things are obviously changing day to day, and until the next one, please have a wonderful morning. Oh, bonus track. How could I forget there was an incredibly important piece of news that was sort of overshadowed by all this corona chaos, and that is that there was a really quite serious subway fire on the 2 train late last week. It did kill one train conductor, which is incredibly sad, especially considering these people are still going to work every single day to keep the city moving while everybody else is on lockdown. And the 2 train, I mean, it runs through most of Brooklyn, all the way through Manhattan and into the Bronx. So this connects everybody. And while the MTA is hemorrhaging cash as people aren't riding it right now, somebody decided that they would set a train car on fire. Now, I think the MTA and the NYPD are offering up about $52,000 in rewards for anybody who can link them to what I assume is probably a homeless man that set a train car on fire. He is also linked to a couple of other suspicious fires that were less serious on platforms in Manhattan. So when it rains, it pours, I suppose. And that is really it this time.